Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. How often at night, when the heavens are bright, I see light from those flickering stars. I have laid there amazed, and asked as I gazed, if their glory exceeds that of love. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day.
Home on the Range became Kansas's state song in 1947. It was so good that Franklin D. Roosevelt claimed it to be his favorite song. But do you know how and why it came to be?
Great question, Sam. It all started with President Abraham Lincoln signing the Homestead Act in 1862. The Homestead Act basically gave new settlers two choices.
Option 1 was to live on 160 acres of land for 5 years in a row and grow crops. After 5 years, they can file for a deed to the property. Option 2 was to pay $1.25 per acre, which is worth over $4,000 per acre today, to live on the land for 6 months and also grow crops.
However, who was the Homestead Act created for, and why did they want the land in the first place?
Settlers came from all over the world, including Sweden, Mexico, and the English colonies. Let's dive in, shall we? The Swedish population moved to central Kansas due to famine in their home country. They called this land Framtidslandet, which means land of the future.
The Mexican population came to the southwest Kansas in order to find employment opportunities such as railroad construction, sugar beet production, and eventually manufacturing. German-speaking people formed the largest group of new immigrants to Kansas. Many came from Germany, but many others were living near the Volga River in Russia. They called themselves Volga German or German Russian.
All of the new settlers came to Kansas in search of new land with economic opportunities, a better way of life, and religious freedom. Among these settlers were cowboys who were responsible for influencing culture in the West at this time. Their responsibilities as cowboys included rounding up cattle in Texas during the spring and moving them north to shipping points such as Dodge City or Abilene, Kansas, or to summer pastures in the Dakotas or Montana.
Cowboy culture added a tremendous amount of the American musical sound, as cowboys would use the song to banish their loneliness and entertain themselves as they moved cattle from one side of the country to another. Their migration helped spread songs across the country through oral transmission, which is the action of passing information through spoken or sung word.
However, as great as the Homestead Act was for new settlers, it did not serve everyone equally.
The Native Americans of this time were affected by the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which forced more than 10,000 Native Americans to move from where they originally resided to Kansas over the span of 10 years.
To honor those who have suffered and been affected by the heinous acts that have occurred against the Native Americans, many places have decided to erect statues and memorials to honor Native American heritage, such as the Keeper of the Plains here in Wichita, Kansas. Here I am at the Keeper of the Plains in Wichita, Kansas. The Keeper was donated to Wichita in 1974 by Native American artist Black Bear Boson. It was actually raised 30 feet by that man-made rock in 2006 as well. The statue was actually placed at the convergence of the big Arkansas River and the little Arkansas River, which actually turns into the full, just regular Arkansas River here. At dusk, 7 nights a week, the Keeper is actually illuminated by 5 pots of fire for about 15 minutes at dusk.
One of the most notable people to benefit from the Homestead Act was Dr. Brewster Higley. Dr. Brewster Higley, who wrote the poem My Western Home, which would later become the words to Home on the Range. Higley also had a talented friend named Daniel Kelly, who was a musician. Kelly is known for writing the melody and chords to what we know as Home on the Range to this day. The two collaborated and created the most well-known arrangement of Home on the Range, which has been rearranged for several performing groups such as wind ensembles, orchestras, and choirs. And now to close our presentation, here's the Friends University 2021 music educators in their own arrangement of Home on the Range.